pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. Myers. Here. Bowen. Here. Inhofe.
Here.
Burnwell.
Here.
Clark Hubbard is here, along with our zoning administrator, Dave Kelsey. First item is to approve the agenda. Everybody should have received a copy. Anybody have any changes or questions, comments on the agenda? If not, is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Is there support? Support. Motion's been made and supported to approve the agenda as presented. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next item is to approve the regular meeting minutes from August 11th. Everybody should have got a copy of those in their packets. Any questions or comments or changes to the minutes? Is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented? Motion by Burnwell to approve the minutes as presented. Is there support?
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. First public comment on agenda items only. Okay, go ahead and close first public comment and go into our treasurer's report. Jamie?
Okay, the general account had a beginning balance of $368,404, with income of $8,083, expenses of $328,631, for an ending balance of $47,856. The money market account had a beginning balance of $0, and then income of $301,024. For an ending balance of $301,024. The fire district account had a beginning balance of 3 cents, no income, 3-cent expense when we close the account. That will be added to their first disbursement in the winter. So for an ending balance of 0. The Honeymoon Heights Lights account had a beginning and ending balance of $13,413. CD 301 had a beginning and ending balance of $59,824. CD 302 had a beginning and ending balance of $59,829. CD 303 had a beginning and ending balance of $51,679. The tax account had a beginning balance of $234,632, income of $446,656, expenses of $347,131, for an ending balance of $334,157.
Okay, thank you, Jamie. Any questions for Jamie? And obviously we're in the heart of summer tax collections, and what's in the tax account is either been cut outstanding checks still with the schools and the county, or yet to be run as a batch. And boy, that money market, so we transferred that August 1st and we made $1,000 in interest. And what were we getting a month before? $100?
Yeah.
140
maybe.
Wow, so that
Was it in 1 month?
in 1 month. So that was a very wise move to move that, so thank you for doing that. Any other questions for Jamie? Is there a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented?
I make a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
Is there support for that?
Support.
Motion's been made and supported to approve the treasurer's report as presented. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. It is on tax collection, so is it September 15th is the last day to file deferment applications?
Yes.
Otherwise, the 1% interest will start for taxes paid after that date. Any update on the laptop?
No.
I haven't got it.
Yeah.
Still on the to-do list, okay?
Yep.
And then, you and Andy, our assessor, met with BSNA Cloud virtually, everything.
Yeah, mine was easy, mine was all my tax years were in there, and
Okay.
he said it was real easy, and then the next one will be before it goes live in October, and he said that'll be really quick, cause it will just be the new stuff.
Okay. And then we have, what is it, like 2 weeks of high priority training, something like that,
Yeah.
so. And then we did, pay the BSNA.net, we approved that at last meeting to pay that, and that will get credited to us, they'll prorate it, cause that was an annual billing for the old system. We still have to keep it active until we're on the new, but we'll get credit for that, they confirmed. I wanted to just quickly mention in the finance realm, so I don't know if you guys, on the MTA weekly updates they send, so, first of all, our state has not approved its budget yet. I think they have till October 1st to get that done. But the House has put forth a bill, for what they think should be the budget, and it appears that that would eliminate, most, townships' statutory revenue sharing, which is different than our constitutional revenue sharing, which is the big check we get every other week. This was a, I think we got $2,000, $2,200 last year. It was a big fight for them to get this for most all townships, and, we just got it last year, and then now they're looking to cut it again. So just wanted to make a note of that. If you see something, oh, they're eliminating revenue sharing, it's just that small little piece that they fought tooth and nail for, and now they wanna cut it, so, it's not a huge part of our budget, but just something to be aware of. Okay, moving on to clerk's report and, September bills list, and we did have it always seems like there's one little bill, to try to get in. So you have a new copy. It's the cleaners were here today and they invoiced us, our normal $120, so we added that. Couple things of note, you'll see 3, Montcalm County Road Commission invoices. So all of our, road projects are complete with the exception of some line painting on Youngman Road. But I just talked to, the superintendent at the road commission this morning, and that has been, the purchase order has gone out to the company that does it, it's just waiting for them to schedule it, and that's a really very small part of the contract. But overall, I did some numbers this morning, our roads came in $11,000, under, budget, so they were able to save us some money on those. I am waiting, you'll notice, I don't know if we wrote it on here, but the 3 bills that are on there are the 2 projects for Youngman and, the one on Bale. The $100,000, that the county put forth, that, was used to fully fund Cutler Road out at Town Line Lake, which I've asked them to give us a 0 invoice, so we can at least have an invoice for that. And then that was $70-some thousand, and then the difference to get to the 100 came off of, one of the Youngman Road projects. So I checked all the numbers, to make sure we were good with paying those. But yeah, that's great that we came in, and that, hopefully that maybe we could, when we talk about the maintenance projects here in a little bit, that savings could be used, I would think, for those. We did get the issue with BC3 resolved, we do not owe them another $600. We have an email from them, stating we're good. I already mentioned the BSNA.net will credit us when we get put on the cloud. So otherwise, any other questions on the bills? Like I said, the big stuff is the 3 road commission, invoices, and then obviously a bigger total than normal, so, and now Jamie will have to do a transfer from money market to cover that. But any other questions? Is there a motion to approve the September bills listing as presented with a total of $109,690.85? Motion's been made, is there support?
Support.
Motion's been made and supported to pay the September bills list as presented. Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll do roll call. Myers?
Yes.
Boehm?
Yes.
Imhoff?
Yes.
Bernwald?
Yes.
Clark Hubbard is a yes, motion carries. Let's see, and then, so Ginger, if you remember from our last meeting, we approved for her to pay for her hotel to attend an elections training, last month. And I'd like to get the board's approval to pay her, it was, greater than 3 hours, the training, so that according to our, wage schedule, we'd be eligible for $60 of training pay. And then her mileage, this is in Lansing, so you have a,
85 miles.
okay, do you, know what,
Yeah, 85 miles, it comes out 51 way.
how much total? Did you say 59,
Uh,
so 100?
119.
119. All right, I make a motion that we approve, $60 training pay and $119 in mileage for Clerk Imhoff's election training in Lansing, to be run through next month's payroll. Is there support for that?
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. Further discussion? Do roll call. Myers?
Yes.
Boehm?
Yes.
Imhoff?
Yes.
Bernwald?
Yes.
Clark Hubbard, yes, motion carries. And then as far as our, last time, the school, reimbursement, we received that for the special election. And then, election grant that we applied for, we're still waiting on that, right, Ginger? That's still,
At the conference, there was one person I talked to that had gotten theirs back, so they're starting to filter back.
okay. And then the Community Advancement Committee, grant period is open through September 30th. I have, the application here, I'm gonna work with Ginger. I think we go ahead and try to, apply for some funds towards the generator here for our community building. I think that would fit the, what they're looking to, grant money for. So, just wanted to let the board know that we have till September 30th to get that
Do
turned
they have a
in.
maximum amount that they?
I don't know if it does or not. I mean, I wanna say the last round, that they gave out, I'm not sure it was, 5 to 10,000-ish. So, we need to make a few phone calls on the generator and, kind of figure out what we need as far as size-wise. So, that's the plan on that. That's great. Okay, moving into zoning administration, Dave Kelsey, update.
Okay, for, last month, there's that, 10764 M46, a 20 by 48 ag building at, 7875 Tamarack Road, Pole Barn, at 18853, Satterley, a home addition on, 6081 Terry Drive. It's, guy had camping equipment there before he pulled a permit. He got 14 days, well, 10 or 12 out of the 14 days he had equipment left there. So I notified him he has 2 days left. and told him he needs to give me a definite date. And he said he's not worried about it, he's gonna come here and argue about it, but, so I don't, it's not a complete permit because it had a lot of dates and he didn't wanna bother putting 2 more days on it, so as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing left, he didn't want it.
And in the meantime, he's gotten the tents and equipment off
He-
of there.
oh, yeah,
So
it's
the
cleaned
neigh-
up
Cause
now.
the neighbors, or the complaint,
Yep.
we wanna make sure
Yep.
that's okay.
And, then for violation, 7106 Cutler Road, there was that flag, it's been going on for quite a while, attorney was involved, courts were involved. And, so far, they've had 5 dumpsters hauled out of there, he's gotta get 1 more dumpster in. And he had, buckets of feces where the guy was using that for a bathroom. And it took a while because hazmat had to come out and clean up the ground too, because there was, I guess motor oil or all kinds of stuff there. He's coming along, it looks a lot better now. He said when he pulls the camper out, which he's supposed to try and get it today, he's gonna call me tomorrow, give me an update. He said if they get that pulled out, we're gonna see more trash, cause there's all kinds of stuff that was dumped behind the.
Well, that's how he's working with you and
Yeah.
calling and
Well,
communicating,
he's
that's
done a
good.
lot,
Yep.
he's been doing a lot, it looks pretty good from the road now, there's a little bit in the front, and like I said, when he pulls the camper out, he's hoping to get it done on the weekend, because, his helpers can only work on Mondays and, Saturdays for whatever reason, I don't know. Okay, and then on, 10916 M46, the guy put a 14-foot trailer in, well, it's supposed to be a 20 or 24 foot, or 22 foot was supposed to be. I gave him a ticket on 8/19 at 25. He did email me back and, he says he has it for sale. I could ask the board, but I don't feel I should give him an extension on that. It's, he wants to leave it there till he sells it, which could be 5 years, could be 1 year.
Put $1 million on it and then it
Yeah.
sits there.
So anyway, I didn't get back to
I
him
don't
on
see where
that.
that's for sale, publicly, anyway, so,
Yeah, but how long is it if we don't want it left there?
no, it needs to be moved.
Yeah. So, might tell him he needs to move it to another, well,
Put it for sale somewhere else.
yeah.
Another
Yeah, I
township.
don't really-
Right.
I'd worry about it.
Yeah, okay, and then, Juniper, Blight, that went on for 2 years, October, something, I think it was 15th, would have been 2 years. I kept pushing it, I've been to court quite a few times for it, and he finally got it cleaned up, but I wasn't happy with the way the courts did it. His fines were like $1,000, cause he kept issuing tickets, he didn't bother cleaning it up, he figured he wouldn't. And, then, I think it was not the last court hearing I went to, but the one before that, the magistrate told him, he said, well, if you clean it up, or that was 2 times before, if you clean it up in 30 days, we'll drop all the fines. So 30 days later, he didn't bother cleaning it up, so then the magistrate told him again, well, I'm gonna give you 30 days, and if, you get it cleaned up, I'm gonna drop the, fines, which I'm gonna talk to the magistrate, this week, I'm gonna make arrangements, talk to him, not in the courtroom, but face to face, and tell him, that's not getting it. Tell him his, election will be coming up, 2 years, so he's getting a lot of residents upset, which he is. I mean, there's other stuff in Douglas, people are gonna show up this Friday at a hearing there because they're tired of it. The guy keeps doing it, so he needs to put his foot down and keep the fine there and give him more, I would think if it costs them money, they're gonna do what they're supposed to do, but anyway, I'm gonna talk to him about that, and that's about it.
Okay, any questions for Dave? Alright, thank you for that update. Marcy, any updates on land divisions?
No new application for land divisions. I'm working with a couple different people on a couple situations that we'll be able to fix it, but I am working with them on it. It has to do with our old assessor and just some things that just didn't get done. So it's come to light now, and so the phone calls have been made to multiple people. But I talked to somebody today and they were real nice, but yeah, we gotta get some things fixed, but I'm handling that, yeah.
Okay, thank you for the update. Planning Commission, David?
Our meeting is Wednesday, 6 p.m. Gonna be finishing up short-term rentals. The whole list here, go over, Randy, I mean, I mostly said most of them the last meeting.
Yeah, I think all of these, kind of this running list we've got going, we discussed at the last meeting, so yeah, just, bring it up and get the planning commission's thoughts, and if it'd be nice if there's, you know, we're already doing a public hearing, and newspaper notice, if we can kind of bake all this in together, if there's other zoning corrections, it would
Be a good time.
be a good thing, save money. I wanted to briefly mention, Dave has gotten, a couple of requests recently for, people wanting to, use their property for a specific item that's not necessarily in the zoning district, that, they're in, and Dave found a section in our general provisions in our ordinance that, and I did confirm with the attorney that this is what it's meant to be, but if there's kind of a one-off use that somebody's asking for, under section 3.31, the zoning administrator can make a determination if he thinks it would fit or be compatible in that district, without, making a zoning amendment to add into the zoning ordinance for, you know, kind of these one-off uses. So if Dave feels that it would be a fit, he can take that to the planning commission, and if the planning commission agrees, they could proceed with us, getting a special land use permit.
Are you saying for a one-time, that's what you're talking
Yeah.
about, for a one-time? Okay.
Yeah, there was one that they're looking at a after-school enrichment program for young kids, and another one was, they already have a roadside stand for flowers, but they may wanna have a flower shop connected to that. So, again, that would be Dave's determination, and then he would take that to the planning commission, and then they would have to, you know, do the, pay the fee in the application, fill out the application, notice to the neighbors within 300 feet, newspaper notice of a public hearing, so it would go through all the channels, it would just be, yeah, we're not gonna amend our ordinance for this one
Oh, I
thing,
see what you're saying.
but, it would be something we would need to keep track of, because, in the future, if somebody asks for that, you would want to know, well, did we kind of set a precedent, or is it similar, you know, so we wanna kind of keep a running list of any of these that, kind of like non-conforming lots, you kind of wanna know that they're out there. So anyways, I just wanted to mention that to the board. Zoning Board of Appeals, they, like, as we said before, they did not have, an August meeting. We're still, looking for an alternate, so update on that. Fire District, Ginger, update?
Yes, the ladder truck is in Grand Rapids, still just waiting for the final go ahead.
Okay.
And it looks like it's gonna come in, about 26,000. And it was covered for 30,000 so far, so by having in-house do it and everything, they've saved that much, where they thought it was gonna be, or we're told it was gonna be over 100,000.
It's waiting for inspection.
Yeah, it's waiting for all the, all the certifications and everything. Yep, and let's see, we voted to purchase 4 new ice rescue kits, for $10,000, 4 of them. They include everything that an individual would need for going through the ice rescue. Cato Township is one of, not Cato, Lakeview District Fire is one of the few townships that have ice rescue. And we also have the boat now, and so we've got the guys that have been certified, and so these kits include like their life jacket, their, everything that they would need, so that they're always on the truck. Ready to go, so they approved purchasing those. They thought they could get them under a grant, but the grant didn't cover them, but they used, they didn't have a final amount that they made in Trufa for the chicken barbecue. But they feel that that money will be used to, replace a door for the Station 2, which is in Trufa. The overhead door for where the fire trucks come in and out. They had voted last month to replace one, and so then they thought, well, we really should replace both of them, so we're gonna use our fundraiser money to do that. So, we did that, and next month, the meeting is in Trufa, Station number 2. That's it for fire.
Alright, thank you. Moves us into the supervisor's report. So the assessing department, no update on the 2 tax tribunal petitions. Those are just, moving their way through the system as far as paperwork and waiting responses. Roads, we mentioned all of our projects are, done. I'm not sure if I updated, I had received a complaint about Satterley Road, beyond the stream that was not repaved, 2 years ago. And I'm hoping to hear something later this month, when the road commission has it's actually an out-of-state contractor that deals with special liners. And it may be an option for that area, but they did some patching out there in the interim, but we know it's a bad, still needs to be looked at in the future. Also had a complaint or concern out in Honeymoon Heights on hazel/butternut and goes into hemlock. A lot of washing out, it's kind of a hill area there. Did talk to the road commission, and they should be getting someone out there to, again, hot patch, try to put a Band-Aid on it, but next year's road projects, and we're gonna have to take a look at some areas out there and prioritize. And then I'd also gotten a previous question on the possibility of exploring a special assessment district out to Honeymoon Heights. So that's something I'm gonna try to check into and see what all that would entail. Again, I think there was one in the past, years and years and years ago, but it had since gone away. I'm not sure, just voted down or just not renewed or whatever happened with that. So, something to look into. I have been kind of watching the newspaper. It looks like other townships, I think Pearson and maybe Grattan Township, have been doing a lot of these, and it is a very involved process. I think you have to have multiple public hearings and these, big huge notices of every parcel, and how is it gonna be equity allocated to each parcel, what they pay, and factoring in a maintenance factor. So there's a lot to it, but it's worth looking into, sounds like, so. So roads, and then also just, again, hopeful for next year that this, we're gonna get some big state, the state to really come to the table, for the budget. I know that, Pat Outman was at the, Montcalm MTA chapter meeting, that we attended, or most of us attended last month, and, I believe the number is, they're proposing in the House was $120 million to local roads, and there would be no township match required, but trying to get the House and the Senate, to come up, they're trying to figure out whose plan is best or compromise, but he did say that Governor Whitmer really wants to get something done. That was a platform that she, ran on, so hopefully next year, we'll have some more money to spend on roads. So just wanted to update on that. Drains, myself and David, attended, a stormwater presentation, sponsored by the Drain Commission, Road Commission, and Building Department. They had a couple of attorneys and an engineer there, to talk about stormwater and who has authority to, regulate it, and it was highly recommended that, townships that don't have the, I guess the expertise in all of that, all of the, ins and outs of stormwater with businesses, to add something into your ordinance to kind of rely on the drain commission to a certain degree as far as, going through all of that, so, they didn't give us any sample language, but it didn't sound like it had to be, a lot, something short and sweet, so we'll have to look into that and add it to the planning commission's ever-growing list. And then, I did just get a notice that they're gonna be doing maintenance on the McComber drain in section 8 in the near future, drain commission letter, so just notice on that. Nothing on cemetery, we'll talk about in, our old business on building property maintenance. Audit, the field work was completed, August 19th, they were out on site, the auditors, they're now, working on getting a draft of the financial statements together, and, goal is to have that done by the end of October. One thing I wanna bring up to the board is, and I discussed this with the auditor, and I think she's in agreement that, we should be doing this, is, when I was doing the budget this year and trying to dig into some of these smaller ancillary revenue streams that we get, the local stabilization authority at the state, gives us a check, I think it comes twice, in February and May, for personal property tax reimbursements, and it's from when, back in like 2016, when they made it easier to get an exemption for small businesses from personal property tax, to, my understanding is to kind of make up to the lost revenues to the localities, there's a formula to reimburse, townships for that lost revenue. In digging into, now when they send the check, it's just, here's your amount, that's it. But when you dig into this formula that they, use, which I did as I was trying to budget to figure out, can I figure out how much we're gonna get? It is based on, there's a portion that is, general operating, millage, what that would, for lost revenue, how that would work with the personal property. But also, if you have a fire millage, there's a portion for that, so there's really two portions of that. And technically, the portion that is based on fire and how this, it's a very complex formula, how this works, that really should be segregated in the fire fund, and at least held for future use. So, going back with the auditor, I don't have the exact figure, but I mean, it was like, I think for this year, it was like $1,700, and it fluctuates up and down each year, but I mean, it was, before that, it was close to $17,000. So that would, I think we need to segregate that in the fire fund, not in a separate bank account, because they're both governmental funds. We can, but we could, in our general ledger tracking, we can have two sub-accounts to keep that separate. But I still wanna do a little bit of digging on it, before we officially, cross that off the list, just to make sure there isn't, it does not appear we've ever done that, going back to 2016, breaking that out separately. So, what we do with the money, that probably I'd like to talk to the fire board at some point once we get this hashed out. I know we have the siren here that is, belongs to the fire district, but somewhere down the line it got put on the township's property. I mean, we don't insure it. And the other thing that kind of bothers me is we don't have a generator. Okay, it'll go off the first time, but if there were 2 tornadoes, the power was out. So I would actually like to see it get moved to the fire building, which has the an automatic generator. And I think that it's on, I'm totally botched, is it 3-phase electric? There's 3-phase or 1-phase. Like, I think when you got the quote for the generator, it was really high.
Right.
And I'm thinking it was probably because they were like, well, you have 3-phase, but all of that's doing is running that siren.
Okay.
And those
I
generators
remember them
are way
saying
more,
something about that, yes.
and those generators are way more expensive than what we need. We don't need that for this building. So, I don't know, I just, you know,
So if we were able to move that, if the fire department took that, then that would probably save us quite a bit to get an estimate
yeah,
and not have to have that.
and now if we have this money that we should be segregating,
Right.
again, based on this kind of complex formula, we could say, hey, you know, this could go to the cost of moving it, rewiring it at your, you know, just to kind of, but it just, to me, it makes more sense that it's down there and it's not like it's that much
Right.
farther away, it's still
Sure.
gonna get the same radius of, you know, notification, so, yeah, just wanted to let you guys know on that, we're probably, gonna need to start breaking that out, so.
Is that something maybe we should consider and bring up, start the conversation with the fire?
Well, I think Ginger had brought up about the siren, and they had a lot going on their agenda at that time, and it kind of was glossed over a little bit, but,
They know there's an issue there, but no decision has been made.
yeah. And, you know, there's some other things, we still have to do our legal review of the agreement, and that's kind of been on my to-do list, but yeah, we need to, I'd like to go to their meeting and say, here's what we found, and, you know, we have these funds that we're segregating, and kind of go from there, so see what they think. Nothing really in legal, other than kind of the zoning questions that have come up, no update on the trail. Events and meetings, Township co-sponsors a cleanup day with the Village of Lakeview, that's going to be this Saturday, September 13th from 8 AM to 12 PM. I see Ginger put that on our homepage, catotownship.com, and it, lists out the different things that are accepted, and you gotta provide proof of residency, all that, so you can check that out on the website. And then the parking, you notice there's 3 new signs, noting that there is a loading zone in those first 3 spots in front of our building. Is it,
Tuesday, Thursday, Friday.
Tuesday, Thursday, Friday from 10 AM to,
I think,
I think there's a time on it.
yeah, but I don't know, I know it's till
Yeah.
5:30.
It tells it on the,
I thought it was 2:30.
It's 2 or 2:30, yeah.
so we were a little bit surprised when we saw that, but I did talk to the village manager, and they're what the problem is this road back here, the semis that have been going down it, it's really beating up that road bad, and also semis blocking, you know, people that are parked, customers and stuff, so, I guess we were the logical choice in front.
Instead of
because-
right down the road where there's
We
nobody.
don't, it's not on our office hour meeting dates, for elections or tax collecting days, or pretty much any time we want, all we have to do is tell them, and they will cover those signs for whatever we have going on here, and it obviously it's not on the weekends when we have rentals, but, did wanna just let you know about that.
I just wanted to mention that they never let us know ahead of time they're gonna do that, they just put the signs up, and that didn't set well with me. Just saying.
I did relay that, and I don't think it was necessarily intentional, but I think in the future we'll communicate a little better.
And we also have this new handicap out here too.
That I don't know. That
Right.
wasn't at the
I mean, that was something we'd asked for elections, but now we haven't, so.
And then for elections, you have been putting your own handicap sign.
Yes.
For the, okay. That takes us into old business, building and property maintenance follow-up. So last month, we kind of just went down the list of the different things, that we need to think about annually for, property maintenance. Ginger, I think, reached out to Summit Fire Protection to get our, annual inspection on fire extinguishers.
Mhm.
And did they get back with you yet?
They were supposed to today and they didn't,
Okay,
so.
so still waiting on that. I think the pest inspections, we said we would just, as needed, we haven't had any issues with critters this year. In HVAC, again, that was just inspected earlier this year, the tail end of last, but it's probably, you know, if we go into winter season, we want them to check the filters and stuff, we can.
Yeah, And I just turned it on today for the first time, the heat.
Yeah.
We do have heat.
Yeah,
so
it
that's a
really was
good-
working good, yeah. And we had used, Sunrise Heating and, I think Sunrise Heating out of Greenville, and they seem to do a good job and very reasonably priced. The roof, I know we talked about that we do have a warranty on that, but they had said, typically that's like for major faulty materials, but, they did say, let them know if we think there's a problem, and they'd be happy to just go up there and take a look at it. And I know we had said when we were updating our solar lights up there, somebody had seen a seam issue, so I think Matt has a picture of it, and I'll email that to them, and that way they can say, oh, that's, something we wanna look at. And otherwise, they said I forget what the notes say, but they, recommend an inspection on the 7th year and then every 3rd year thereafter. And we just had this roof replaced in 2022, so it hasn't been 7 years. Unless we notice a problem and we want them to come out. Office carpet, Ginger, you've got some information on potentially replacing that old 70s shag carpet.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I got a quote from Home Depot and one from the decorating department in Howard City. It's not a quote, it's a estimate, because I hadn't picked out any carpet yet. And so I went for like a mid-grade, that office doesn't get a lot of traction in there, mid-grade. I want to say commercial, right, yeah, glued to the floor in carpet tiles. And what I came up with, or what they came up with, ranges from about 1,300 to 1,700, depending on which carpet we get. And to tear out the existing carpet and haul it away was $126 for one and $100 for the other one. So that's pretty good to do that, it's certainly worth that for them to haul.
That's the product and installation for the new,
What about it?
the product, that first
Yeah.
quote was for both installation and for the carpet?
Yes, and the glue, it includes measuring, Mohawk. They listed the different kinds of carpet tile, approved adhesive for carpet tile, labor to tear out existing stretch carpet and haul away, labor to install carpet tile over cement, and that was $16.88.
That was decorating department.
That's decorating department, yep.
Now, Home Depot, do they?
Theirs was about this, theirs is very close to the same, it all depends on which carpet you get to.
They would hire out an installer or something?
Yeah, they have, I think they have installers that are in this area.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So that just gives us an idea of how much it would be.
What do you think? I mean, let's see. So we have community center. Let's look at our budget. So we have 1,000, we haven't spent any of this yet either. For community center repairs and maintenance, 1,000, community center equipment, 1,000. So we have 2,000, and we do have, obviously the savings from roads, we have a little contingency money. So, I mean, it's definitely in the ballpark, price-wise.
Yeah, I was surprised.
So what would be the next step, would be to actually have them come out?
Yeah, they'll come and measure for free and look at, I guess, what we have, and
Okay.
So
And
you
then
bring,
I
you have
would
to bring
pick-
samples too?
I would probably go over there,
You have some
look at them,
samples.
but I did bring some samples back with me, but nothing definite, like on prices or anything like that. My thought was to try to match something fairly close to this, you know, so it's not like brown down the hall and pink in the office.
So you maybe could come back to our October meeting with something a little more, a quote.
If you want me to go ahead and do that, and I can bring some samples in and.
I mean, I think that's
Just if you have a measure, don't forget the electrical is attached to the floor. So that's gonna be a difference.
Are they hauling the stuff out of there?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's well worth it then. Absolutely.
And everything from the.
This didn't say anything about
Oh, they're
moving.
big, yeah, I bet you not.
I bet you not either,
Oh.
but I also know that, I talked to Ben Stout yesterday. He has a couple guys that work for him, that he has helped him. You know, Ramon is around town a lot, you know him. And then there's another, guy Ruben, that helps Ben do a lot of things, and he says, oh, I can get those guys in there and then get that right out for nothing. So, I'm sure we can empty it as much as we have to.
my feeling would be, yeah, go ahead, with bringing something back to the board in October.
Paint? It would be nice. It wouldn't take, I found the can from the paint that's already in there, because I was gonna touch up some things on the side, so I have the number, which is really nice. And if we went with the same thing, then we just go over 2 walls, and then that third wall would be pretty
I think
easy
definitely enough in the budget to
to paint.
get a few cans of paint and rollers. So, okay, does everybody feel like Ginger gets something a little more
Absolutely.
narrowed down, come back in October, we could vote on it, and are they like able to start the project?
No, they don't even have any openings until October.
Oh, okay, well, yeah, that's,
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, we're booked till February or something like that.
No, but.
Okay,
Do you have a preference if I went with like Home Depot or the decorating department? I mean, as far as,
The decorating department is the one you've been talking to, right? You got the quotes with them?
yes, and I did the Home Depot too, but I was in Mount Pleasant, and just talked to somebody up there and looked at some carpet up there.
I kind of would like to see a local business.
I would too.
yeah, and it's
That was my feeling,
closer
but I
for
just-
renting
Yep.
gigs to run
Absolutely
down the
right.
city.
So I'll
It'll
just,
be easier to get a hold of if there's an issue or.
the price difference isn't that much,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, in our new purchasing policy that we adopted last
Yes.
month would be, tier 2, 1,000 to 2,500, maybe made on the open market, shall be approved by the board prior to purchase, which we kinda just said it's still a good idea, even in that range, to get a couple quotes, which I feel comfortable that you reached out to a kind of a big box store and also local and fairly close.
A lot of it is just which carpet you choose, because the others are very close as far as the adhesive and the labor.
We don't need fancy, we need economical.
Not big.
Yeah, not
Anything's better.
Yeah, anything's an upgrade. Okay, what else? Kitchen, you brought in a microwave that you
Yeah.
have, but seems like it's a little too big.
I think so. I might have another one too. But my sister's moving again, and she's getting rid of a bunch of stuff, so,
Well, we can put that one on
which is
hold.
practically brand new, but that won't be much of a cost. Today they came and, cleaned all the cupboards out, washed off the fronts of them, took out some old, contact paper that was in there that was not very good shape, and it looks really, really good. So that's nice, cause it's so much better to have people rent it and open it up and.
Okay, the only other thing I think was cemetery, fencing, I made a few calls on that. So just for the materials, if we went with what we have now, which is like a woven wire field fence, I called DeWitt Lumber, they didn't really have anything. I called like the elevator, they don't carry that. And then I called Tractor Supply, and Big L Lumber in Stanwood, and Tractor Supply, I think, has the better deal. So it's the side that's really bad that needs to be replaced ASAP is the east side, and that's 627 feet long. And Tractor Supply has the woven field fence for in rolls of 330 feet, 47 inches, so high, so about 4 foot, which is about what we have. And they have like 9 of them in stock. So we would need like 2 rolls, and they're $250 each. So you'd have about 500 into the wire. Would need to replace the T-post. Talked to Brian, and he thought 6 foot would be plenty with a 4 foot fence if you go down a foot into the ground. And those are about $4.99 each. And if we did every 10 feet, like they have now, we would need 62 T-post, 62, 63, I think I just bumped it up to like 65, would be about $324. And then there's, in the corners, thought about, do we need the bigger like post, like wooden posts, but there's already these iron, I went out there this afternoon, these like iron,
Corner post.
what are they called?
It's an iron corner post.
Like a post that are already out there secure. So I don't think we would need to buy any bags of concrete or the 4x4 treated, which would be roughly about $100 extra. So total materials, I'd say around $850 if we didn't need those, the concrete and the wooden post, just to do that one side. We do have a volunteer.
Voluntold.
He volunteered.
You have 2 volunteers.
And also, Marcy's son Mason, my husband Matt, have both volunteered to do that, and Brian said he is willing to help also. If he's in charge of the whole project, he would probably wanna charge for that, but if he's got help and somebody else is kinda leading the project, he's fine to help out. So I think that's something in our budget for the cemetery, we have we spent $507 on maintenance supplies out of a $2,500 budget. And then we have cemetery equipment, nothing spent but $1,500. Only other caveat is, all these old trees along the fence, some of them are grown into the fence or the fences. I think there's at least 1 tree and possibly a big stump that we had the tree cut down last year, but the stump was so big, we just said leave it. Those might have to go. So that's kind of a up in the air question. But I think we could go ahead and get the materials purchased, obviously sales tax exempt, we'll have to get our certificate for that.
And the 1 tree is just a small tree.
1 tree is just a small one.
It's a little tree, it's not very
shouldn't be-
big. Like yay big around, but it
Shouldn't
kinda
be
goes
that
out like
much.
this, and then there's a big tree, so it has to go.
Yeah, and that'll be an issue when we eventually kind of work our way around this fence. Trees, and trees in general in the cemetery, I know we spent like $5,000 last year, cause we kind of the cemetery's been neglected as far as tree maintenance. And there's just a lot of old trees out there. Honestly, we could probably spend another $4 to $5 grand out there getting these trees, the ones that are iffy of how long they're gonna go, but for now, with the fence project, I think there's probably a couple, that we might need to look at, but anybody have any
So
comments?
to call, like, bunker tree service or tree service to come out and give an estimate for what you're talking about?
Yeah, I think once the guys go out and look at it and say, yeah, we would like that to go,
Right.
if there's nothing we could do, then either bunker, we used imposts
Right.
last time,
Okay.
get that taken care of, but, else have any questions or comments? If not, I guess I would make a motion that we approve the purchase of cemetery fencing materials, as discussed. I'll just say up to $1,000. Is there support for that?
Supported.
Motion's been made and supported. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, we'll do roll call. Myers?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Imhoff?
Yep.
Bernald?
Yes.
Clark Hubbard, yes, motion carries. And then for the trees, you know, I think in our budget, we have enough. And our new purchasing policy, purchases under 1,000 may be made without prior approval by the board as long as the expenditure does not exceed the applicable budget item. So we could have those, you know, one or both of those guys, whatever we wanna do, come take a look and just get it done. As long as it's under the 1,000, just get it done. So I don't know that we need to make a motion on that. And, you know, I talked about, could we contact the fence company? But I think it's gonna be a lot more money.
Oh, yeah, oh, it will be.
Very capable volunteers, very much appreciated. And obviously our sexton, groundskeeper involvement as well, so. Okay. Anything else? On the building or property maintenance? I think we've covered everything.
New stuff, but not old stuff.
New stuff, like,
New business for the property stuff.
well, if it falls in the category, if you wanna bring it up.
Well, I was just, one thing I just wanted to mention, because it's not gonna be much of a cost, is I would like to replace that lock that goes on that door right there, to have it rekeyed to the same as our other doors. Because I like to park in the back, and I've been started parking in the back, there's quite a bit of room back there, and then be able to come into this door. We don't have any key that goes to that door.
That would be a locksmith, correct? You'd have to call a locksmith
No.
for that, no?
No, Jordan Lindsay, through Kevin Griffiths, said he had done these other two, and he says all you need to do is, what did he tell me? It was, I have it written down at home. Not Ace Hardware, that's what I was gonna say, it was Home Depot, but it's Ace Hardware, they can order you called a rim cylinder, and you take your key up there and they can just pull different pins or whatever to rekey it. There shouldn't be any problem,
So you're gonna
so I'm gonna
Check
do that, and
that.
the cost is,
minimum.
yeah,
Yeah.
$25, something like that.
Hmm.
And you just pull that, it's just a center thing, and that just comes out and a new one goes in, are you familiar with that? Things like that? Does that sound about right to you?
I'm not Ace Hardware, so I couldn't tell you the price, but is it capable of being doing without a locksmith? Yes.
Yeah.
But price sounds
Right.
reasonable.
Yeah,
Any other little projects?
not that one, but, talking about the cemetery, and, just as we sat here, I just looked up what the village charges for their lots. And they charge $650 for one lot and $300 for a burial site. We're $120 compared to their $650.
Yeah.
And then they have a lot of other things tacked on to that besides that,
They're that cheap, or we're that cheap?
We're very,
that's something we need to, I would say, and
yeah.
we need to consider raising.
After Jim and I went to the, MTA presentation or training in Mount Pleasant, the cemetery is a project, as far as one, we need to make sure we have an updated ordinance.
Yes,
And that, I think the fee discussion and that, and the maintenance all kinda goes into one.
Yeah.
One big discussion on that, you know, I think we like to keep the fees, I would like to keep the fees reasonable.
I would
Right.
too.
Oh,
For,
reasonable,
you know, people,
I would
but
too.
that's
Even
really
for
low.
non-residents, because people that lived here all, or were born and raised here, then go away, and then wanna come back here.
And Ginger has done a great job putting out all these little fires with the records with the cemetery. have
Trying to
not
get the
been the
records all
greatest.
straight, right now,
People
I'm trying to digitize them.
May have bought 6 lots or whatever back in 1930 and that moved away, and so we learned a lot about that at that class, what the township can do to kind of reclaim some of those, or, and then you just in general, making sure we know
Yes,
what's been
yeah.
sold and certificates, so it's kind of a big,
It's a project. This is my new election that I don't have in November.
yeah, no election.
No election in
cemetery
November,
work.
so now I can work on the cemetery.
Did you say Missy was gonna help, or did you talk to Missy?
She got everything in,
She put everything, it's all in an Excel file, I found that out.
Yep.
And so I'm gonna get that back from her, or get one of those from her.
which is on our website.
Yeah, it's on our website, but it's
Okay,
not,
I
not in
understand.
that format.
The format you need.
Right, I just need the format that she has, and then, there's just a lot that needs to be done. It's a project that'll always be ongoing, never be completed.
It's been neglected for a long time.
Okay.
But the costs, I mean, we put a lot of money into it and just sold 8 lots a couple weeks ago, so. Okay, that's my story, just putting that out there so
Yes.
you can.
Definitely, good item. Okay, we'll move on to new business, just, we have the one item, we have, everybody should have this in their packets, Ginger, do you were kind of the liaison, they approached you, kind of talk to the board about Gus Macker donation?
Yeah, the donation that I didn't really understand how Gus Macker worked, but the money that they make, they have to donate to nonprofits. It can be in the township, in the village, or even in the county. So they ended up with $57,000 this year.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
It's very good. And some of the donations were to, the village to buy bleachers that the village can use, but Gus Macker can also. They kind of give you ideas of what to purchase with it, or what you need, or you can, I suppose, let them know. The wellness center, they made a nice substantial donation down there, and they're putting a basketball court outside in their parking lot. And, I don't know how much they donated, but they donated, it's all on Facebook, you can look at that. They donated some to Lakeview Community Church, they're building a new youth center. They donated some to the, Pound, their
Animal shelter.
animal shelter, I didn't wanna say Pound, think of the name of that. And they gave us $1,000 towards new tables. So evidently they didn't like our tables, didn't think our tables we're not bound to spend that on tables, but that was a suggestion, you know, we thought you could use some new tables, so here's $1,000. And.
Which I think.
That's a lovely suggestion.
What?
That's a lovely suggestion.
Yes, yes,
To designate that, I mean, I would say that that's,
yes.
I'd be fine designating that or committing that donation to tables. So, and I think that's what the resolution for acceptance of gift to the township, Ginger put together. Lakeview Gus Macker organization is generously offered to donate 1,000 to Cato Township Community Center in support of projects that will benefit the local community. And the township board has determined that the acceptance of this gift is in the best interest of the township and its residents. Whereas the township intends to use the donated $1,000 for new event tables. Now let it be resolved, the township board hereby accepts this generous gift of $1,000 from Lakeview Gus Macker, and that the clerk is authorized and directed to execute any and all documents necessary to complete the transfer of the gift, and the township treasurer is authorized and directed to deposit the gift. I would make a motion that we, approve this resolution for acceptance of the gift to the township. Is there support? Support. Motion's been made and supported. Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll do roll call. Myers,
Yes.
Boehm,
Yes.
Imhoff.
Yes.
Bernwald,
Yes.
Clark Hubbard, yes, motion carries, and a big thank you to the Gus Macker Lakeview Gus Macker organization, for the donation.
We got their dates for next year too already.
I have no other new business, is there anything?
What about this? Jamie just gave me that, did they give you this?
Where is it?
Okay, no.
This is
didn't know.
mileage
Yes,
reimbursement?
mileage.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, yeah, we had talked, I apologize to Dave, as far as, we have, been dragging our feet a little bit on putting a formal policy together. I know during budget time, we had discussed briefly, and let me see what we have. So, yeah, I mean, we did budget some for mileage for planning and zoning. Do we have a total what this amount would be? So we have
Yes.
August, and these are for Dave to, go inspect complaints and go attend court cases.
6440.
So this is, just right, it's 6440.
6440.
That's reimbursement at the IRS mileage rate of 70 cents, okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead and, let's see, we've got trailer, yep, these are all the complaints that Dave had in his report.
I do have a better form now that, next month, if there's even anything there, there's more room for me to write on it and everything,
Sure.
so.
Okay, yeah, if you wanna submit this before in the future, before our next meeting, if you wanna send it to me, or since you and I converse quite often on all the
Okay.
activity you got going on, and then I can get it to the clerk and we can get it in the bills list.
I usually try and keep everything monthly, I like to keep it simple.
Yeah.
And, so if it's a month late for me getting paid for it, that's okay, at least I know all of, August
Yeah.
of everything was turned in,
So for,
instead of turning it in the middle of the month. But
Sure.
I don't know, unless you guys want to.
no, that's okay, I mean, if you wanna do all the month of September, we get it for our October meeting, then I think that's fine. So I'll make a motion that we reimburse, Dave Kelsey for mileage, August mileage for complaint inspections and court, attendance for $64.40. Is there support?
Support.
Motion's been made and supported, further discussion?
The mileage, now I don't write it down from my house, over to there, I write it down leaving from this hall, Township Hall, to wherever and back, and,
Okay, so
like for that place on 46, it was from here to there, which is a
Okay.
couple miles. In my house, it would have been an additional, but I don't count
okay,
that,
It's kind of a
that's kind
community.
of personal.
Yeah. What about if you were to go from your house to Stanton, I guess, how would you?
Well, then I always put it from here to Stanton too, I don't, if you're.
Stay at the home base is what you're saying, start at home base.
Yes.
Home base here, yeah,
Right,
I think that's
that's what I did for.
Better.
That's what a
Lansing.
mile.
And we probably, I know on the other mileage, we run it through the payroll, it's not taxable, but it just goes on your check, but I mean, I guess we can, I don't think it matters for reporting, we can ask Blaine just to make sure it's okay to just cut a regular AP check versus waiting till we run September payroll, which won't be till the end of this month, but I don't know if it
Yeah,
matters to
it's-
you.
no, it doesn't.
That might make it a little cleaner and consistent, so, alright, any other discussion? Did we vote? No. No other discussion, we'll do roll call. Myers,
Yes.
Bowen,
Yes.
Imhoff,
Yes.
Bernwald,
Yes.
Clark Hubbard, yes. Motion carries. Alright, no other new business, or comments from the board, then we'll go into final public comment, which can be on any topic. We have a taker.
Nancy Lundwall from Cato Township. On Honeymoon Heights and the Monies part, we put, Honeymoon Heights had to have a new pole put in, and they came out and did that, have you gotten a bill for that?
Nope.
You should get, but the bill should come to the township,
Well,
shouldn't it?
And I think I might have asked that question at your guys, when I went to your association meeting, and nobody really knew, but we get one bill from Homeworks Tri-County in December for the whole, I guess however it works, all of the light poles
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
So I am assuming it
So
would
it'll
go
be
on
taxed, so
that.
it'll be them, okay.
I assume, but I don't know, being outside, not having anything to do with the process of
But
talking
you
to
don't get
them.
a monthly bill then for the electrical,
No.
you get an annual bill from
Comes
them.
once a year.
We'll wait till December, in January,
Yeah.
we'll find out whether,
Yeah,
there
they're
was
gonna be
enough
wanting
money
some
there.
money from somebody.
cause
But-
it's brought up at the association meetings, have you seen a bill for the new pole? And
Yeah.
Nobody,
Nobody has,
no,
so,
I said, so ask at the next township, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
or I'm sure whoever arranged that had a contact, they could call them and ask.
Well, you just call them and you give them a number and they just take care of whatever. There was a poll, we needed a poll, it's just, you almost just put it on the answering machine
Oh,
and they
okay.
respond to it.
I remember when somebody from Honeymoon Heights had reached out asking what's the process, and I called the road commission,
Oh.
and they kind of led me. Well, anyways, I ended up talking to someone in service
Uh-huh.
at Homeworks,
Okay,
so I got somebody when I
You got
called,
it.
I mean, I could call them too,
yeah,
but I wasn't the one
it's not a big deal.
who
We'll
arranged
we'll
it.
just wait and let her float
Yeah.
and see what happens.
Yeah, it sounds.
If you're not getting a bill, we're not getting a bill, all's well.
Any other public comment?
Jamie Snyder, Cato Township. I am officially resigning as videographer of meetings. So this week will be my last week recording meetings for Planning Commission and Board because I've got a lot of stuff going on. And possibly moving out of Cato Township in the soon future.
Well, we definitely appreciate you, taking the initiative of your own time to do that, and definitely it's been
It's been, what,
appreciated.
5 years?
Yeah.
So thank you very much
Mhm.
for
You're very
all you've
welcome.
done, really appreciate it.
Still eat after the meeting?
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, anybody can come with us, but yeah.
but thank you, seriously, and, any other comments?
I guess, well, yeah. I don't know if Honeymoon Heights have deed restrictions, or do you just have covenants or what, but I just found out today from another township, they're gonna make adjustments for, if there's deed restrictions by law, the township, or I am responsible to enforce it, and it overrules the township's
Really?
ordinance. And, but there's a problem. I talked to, Melissa, the assessor today, to ask her if she had, a list of any property that has deed restrictions. She said, no, she doesn't. So, I know for Douglas, it just asked, do you have any deed restrictions, yes or no? Anybody can just put no down, but does that still leave the township liable for not enforcing it? Because even though the people didn't check off the right check.
On a zoning permit, when they
Yeah.
apply, or.
So they're thinking about, this just happened today, so Douglas might end up adding to their zoning permit that you have to turn in a deed along with it, and then every time one comes in, I can look through it and make sure there's no restrictions, or if there is, they're not breaking, or we're not breaking it.
What would be an example of a deed restriction?
Well, there's, one right now is, oh my gosh, let me see, over on Clifford Lake, hasn't happened yet, but people are concerned about it if it does. But somebody wants to build a pole barn on the lot there, and the zoning allows it under certain circumstances, but this circumstance is different, but the deed restrictions, I haven't seen it yet or read it or anything, so I don't know exactly what it says. but
You're talking about like the Honeymoon Heights, their covenants and.
Subdivision.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, we don't enforce the covenants, we can't, we don't enforce that, but if there's deed restrictions,
And usually on a deed to a property, it would just like relate or say something to what, say, the Honeymoon Heights is, so it wouldn't actually have it on somebody's deed, but it would indicate on where to go to look for them. And usually in title insurance and stuff, they will pull all that information out too. So it's probably just, you know, designated to like Honeymoon Heights specifically, or, you know, if
Probably
something was created, you know.
So how would we know if it was or wasn't?
I guess I would say this is probably a question for our township attorney.
Yeah, they're giving way a little while, I think Douglas is digging into it right now, and I know Melissa said today, the assessor said that, they can have deed restrictions anywhere, in ag, just anywhere, doesn't
Well,
necessarily.
anybody can put a restriction on their deed if they're selling a property,
Yeah,
you know.
And that seems like, why would the township have to
I know, according
enforce
to
that? It's their,
Douglas,
yeah,
she's digging deeper, but other lady talked to a couple lawyers and said that's the law.
Oh.
But she brought it up that I'm not doing it.
I could ask MTA too before we spend.
Yeah,
Maybe
I'd
that,
ask MTA,
I'll ask.
let me know for sure, one way or another. that
Well, it's
way.
kinda like in Canadian Lakes, you know, you can live in Canadian Lakes and you're paying your fees and everything, they have restrictions, like for instance, real estate, we can't put signs up. So there's a restriction in there on all the deeds, all the people that live in Canadian Lakes, when they go and sell, real estate agents can't put signs up. So it's something probably
Is that
like you're
written
talking
on
like
the
a
deed?
condo site division and they have their bylaws and stuff
Yeah.
like that, that's probably what we're talking about.
So is that deed, have that on there? It
Yeah,
says-
so if somebody builds in Canadian Lakes, they have to go by what the restrictions are.
It's on the deed, printed on the deed.
It referenced where to go to look for all that stuff. So it's like you have your deed, and then it'll stay in there, and then you can go to the bigger picture, you know, like, the condo site subdivision, and it
We
gives all
don't
the.
enforce that
Oh,
stuff, yeah, so,
Hopefully, yeah.
okay,
whatever
well,
it is.
I'll still ask the general question to MTA and see what they say, and, yeah, just keep us updated on how it goes.
Because then every deed would have that specific, those specific terms on every deed in that area, you know, and they don't have that. You just gotta go to the one big book, if
Yeah.
you wanna call it that.
In your opinion, Dave, do you think it's a more of a way for them to enforce, like, say Honeymoon Heights has restrictions, but not everybody pays, so it's more of a way to get Honeymoon Heights rules followed by kind of probably doing what you're thinking, or
Have the
Douglas.
deed enforced or
Yeah.
whatever. Oh, but basically, it's just for the deed restrictions, not the covenants, you know, so there's a difference here, I guess.
Yeah, but
I first heard of it today, I didn't know anything, yeah.
Alright, any other public comments? That was Dave, and then Matt had one question. Alright, is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Support? Motion being supported, further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.